70,000 years ago, the Earth became an incredibly hostile environment. A severe, punishing drought was violently punctuated by the Toba supervolcanic eruption. The fallout from these overlapping disasters pushed early Homo sapiens through a brutal genetic bottleneck. Our population collapsed to a few thousand individuals, bringing the species to the edge of extinction. The survivors were left with a binary choice. They either had to develop new modes of cooperative behavior to navigate this new world, or they were going to die out. Overcoming these compounding environmental threats demanded an immediate leap in intelligence, creating a crisis that standard evolution was not equipped to handle. When nature needs a species to become smarter, it typically scales up the physical size of the brain to accommodate more neurons. But humanity faced an anatomical roadblock. The structural constraints of the female birth canal meant a larger infant skull was a biological impossibility. Our physical hardware had maxed out. If the brain grew any larger, it would prevent successful reproduction, ending the species before the higher intelligence could even be utilized. Nature needed to upgrade the processing power of the human brain, but it was blocked from expanding the physical container. The Way of PoE hypothesis suggests that nature bypassed this physical wall by looking inward to the subatomic level. The workaround involved the ions responsible for transmitting signals between neurons. They achieved a state of quantum entanglement, instantly mirroring each other's state across different regions of the brain. This entanglement allowed the brain to synchronize information across its entire network at once, bypassing the time delays of chemical signaling and the space requirements of additional wiring. In a standard biological model, signals travel in a linear chain, limited by physical distance. With quantum interconnectivity, the brain could integrate vast amounts of data simultaneously across distant clusters of neurons. This subatomic shift changed the human brain from a linear biological processor into a device capable of nonlinear, parallel computation. By linking distant neural networks into a single synchronized web, the brain gained the ability to hold multiple, unrelated ideas in the mind at once. This internal workspace allowed humans to represent the world with symbols. This symbolic consciousness granted humans a new capacity, agency. Because they could now weigh abstract symbols against their own survival instincts, they could choose to act contrary to their biological programming. Communication evolved alongside this shift, moving from a basic proto-language of simple sounds to a complex system of syntax capable of describing reality itself. This cognitive flexibility provided the exact behavioral adaptability needed to coordinate and outsmart the environmental threats pushing the species toward extinction. With their new agency, humans began a rapid cultural expansion, inventing art, shared narratives, and intricate social structures that didn't exist in the natural world. These cultural expressions enabled the transmission of complex knowledge and the large-scale cooperation required to survive the genetic bottleneck. However, this high-level awareness created a new problem. For the first time, humans were self-aware enough to question the meaning and purpose of their existence. Early humans found themselves in an existential vacuum, possessing the symbolic intelligence to ask why, but lacking the scientific framework to find the answers. To manage the dread of this unknown, humans used their symbolic consciousness to invent the answers they couldn't yet discover. They developed structured mythologies and anthropomorphic projections to explain the universe, marking the birth of religion. These traditions were effective survival mechanisms, providing the moral guidance and social cohesion necessary to keep a traumatized population together. This perspective suggests that our brains are not just passive observers of a clockwork universe. If our consciousness is rooted in quantum entanglement, then our thoughts and intentions are deeply integrated with the fundamental principles of the physical world. Humanity survived because we used the subatomic architecture of our own minds to build a world of meaning where there was none.